Boy, I sure do wish this fish room fever guy would hurry up. Everybody's sitting here waiting on him. Oh, hey, that's me. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Glad to have you here. I'll run through and say hello to everybody. Of course, we have the Zen Ginger throwing all sorts of awesome links out. Oh, well, I won't say the links are awesome, but she's awesome. Ooh, hold on. I'll fix it. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Don't yell at me. I know there's an echo. All right, let's mute that. Let's pause that. All right, should be good. See, that's what I get for not wearing my headset. I'm so used to having somebody else and wearing a headset, I forgot to kill the audio on that. All right, let's get back to it. There we go. Anyways, thank you, Zen, for throwing the links out. I appreciate it. Lance Jones is with us. Chevy Fish. Alice, hello. I hope you enjoyed your dinner. Young Fish Aquatics, again, my condolences. That's always hard when we lose a fish, so I'm sorry to hear that. We are here for you. Guppy Guru, who is to thank for this website update, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a minute. But honestly, mostly I threw that up so it wasn't just full screen me, boom, right in y'all's face. And we could enjoy the backdrop and some other things. Let's see, we've got Bill Witt says, my fish fever is going up. Yeah, mine too. I'm actually picking up a 55-gallon tank and stand today. Something else that I wanted to talk about a little bit today because I haven't decided exactly what to do with it. We've got Pugimus Maximus. Dragon Lair is with us for the moment until he has to head out to work. Big J's Fish Keeper, hello. Pega's sister Rena, hey, on mobile today. Glad to have you with us. I appreciate all you. Chewy LTD, Anthony's Fishy friends. So this is how it happens when I try and slow pace it. I think it's going to be a nice, relaxed, slow day. The chat runs away on me, but I appreciate having you all here. So yeah, hopefully there's the echoes. Hopefully the echo should be gone and the delay should be gone and everything should be good. See, make sure I haven't missed anything directed at me. Of course, Miss Fever is here with us as well. Thank you. So I appreciate you all joining this morning. Again, thank you. Guppy Guru Peter has gone through and updated the website. So for anybody that has not been there recently, or if you've never seen it before, the fishroomfever.com website, we've got, like some basic intro to what is Fish Room Fever and that little video I made talking about why I chose the name Fish Room Fever. He threw the link up there for Project Posilia, which it is now the 1st of June, so the Posilia contest is closed. We will be doing the judging, and then River Life will announce when he's going to have a live stream to let everybody know who won. But we do have, the most important thing on there is the stream times for the Fish Fam. He went through, revamped that, added a bunch of things on there, added some streams that I wasn't aware I was even missing. So a huge thank you, Peter, for doing that. And if you're ever curious who's streaming and you're maybe new to the Fish Fam, or even if you're not, there's some people on here I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that person. So I found some new people to watch myself. Then we, of course, have, as Zen likes to promote because she's so awesome, my social media links there. The GoFundMe's for, of course, the lovely Candy Overhauls, 54 Punchy Paints, Ohio Fish Rescue, and the Ark of Cleveland. We just recently added that. That's Bob Kaler's nonprofit animal shelter that he manages. So got those links on there, and then a couple of stores for the Fish Fam, some art stuff from Rack and Multi-Tank Addiction. Threw my Teespring on there, figured why not maybe one day start recouping what it costs for the website. And then we've got Guppy Guru's Salt City Aquatics on there as well. But I'd say the biggest things being those GoFundMe's and then the stream times. So touched on that a little bit. Hey, Sharpies, Models, and Aquatics. It's going to be a waffling day for me, so enjoy. And yeah, it's evening over there. It's only about noon here. I will probably go the full time. Big J, if you want to go, 15, 20 minutes early, let me know. And we may cut it there because I do have a lot to do today. I've got to go pick up a tank. This is my last week at work, which means the last week of insurance. So I need to go get new glasses while I still have the insurance, preferably. I've got two broken pairs. I'd like to have one non-broken pair. So if I can do that today while I still have entrance, that'll be great. And then things like water changes, need a haircut and shave, just stuff like that. Busy, busy day. Hey, Gina French, glad to have you. But one thing I wanted to talk about, I guess the main topic, if you will, is I would like to know, I'm just curious, why everybody got into the hobby. You know, what brought you into fish? And then there are some other things regarding fish keeping that I'd like to just ask everybody about and see what everybody thinks. Hello, Pamela. Glad to have you here. Sandy, good to see you. Lots of awesome members in the chat today. Awesome people all in general, lurkers and listeners and contributors. There's double thumbs up from Big J, so I'm going to say that he doesn't mind popping on a little early. Yeah, I've got to run across town, pick up a 55-gallon tank and stand from another fish tuber, and I'm thinking that's probably going to end up getting donated to some sort of demo / silent auction type thing or something like that at the event for this fall. But we'll see. I may use it for guppies in the time being, since I have so many muck guppies. Guppy Guru says the community is why I love it now, but I got into it for the calm it brought me. Absolutely. I think that there is a large part of the community that deals with, you know, anxiety, stress, depression, things like that. And fish keeping and enjoying the fish, you know, sitting and watching the fish tanks is very calming and relaxing and kind of brings us our zen, if you will. Sand Creek Aquatics. Hey, Nathan, good to see you. Says my wife was interested. Awesome. Sharpies is just about to be able to see and breathe again after cutting the grass this morning. Oh, yeah, fun stuff. I have such a small amount of grass on the property here. And hello again, Bill Witt says, hello, Fever Shoal. All sorts of awesome people in here. I love you guys. Always brightens my day to get to come on here and talk to you all. So thank you for that. You know, fish, aquatic life, marine life has always been just a huge part of who I am. Yeah, I grew up on the ocean. Part of that quite literally. Lived the first, I think, year of my life on a shrimp boat. But I was always down in the water playing with crabs and little fish and, you know, anything and everything. I remember, you know, my parents had a marine construction business, so a lot of times after school we'd be out there at sites, and my sister and I'd be in the water flipping over rocks, seeing what we could find and catch and fun stuff like that. And it's just kind of gotten ingrained in me. It really is something that I kind of feel empty if I don't have. Hold on a second. There we go. Now I see it. I missed a super sticker from the Zen Ginger earlier, but it's something that, you know, if I don't have fish tanks, there's really a void there, essentially. Zen Ginger, apologies, I missed you. I saw it earlier and then I got to talking and went right past it somehow. So sorry, but Zen Ginger did pop in way earlier with the $2 super sticker with the big red arrow saying she is here. Love you, Zen. Thank you for everything that you do, you know, for the channel, for, you know, moderating. You do some awesome videos on your YouTube channel, even though you won't admit it, and just your support in general. So thank you very, very much for that. And that was popped back into my head, and I remembered that I had forgotten her because Sharpie's Models and Aquatics popped through with the, what is that, €3? That's not the euro sign, is it? That's the pound, £3. What is that? Fist bump? The fist bump pair. Awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate that very much, buddy. Sorry I didn't get to hang out and listen to the waffling yesterday. With this being my last week at work, I'm specifically there to help them prep for an inventory. And so it is like super, super hectic. But I will from now on be available to listen and hang out with you, buddy. So thank you very much for that, John. Dragon Lair says, Bill, I don't shoal. I'm the predator fish hiding in the weeds. He is. He really, really is. And Fantastic Freaks, hello and welcome. Good to see you again. So yeah, so I think, you know, that's what brought me into the hobby, and that's what's brought me back. You know, it started this last round, which has been a year now that I've been back in the hobby. It was right around June last year that I got into the hobby again. Started with one little 20 long and just went from there. I got ended up getting a male and a female bristle nose, which 8 or 10 years ago weren't nearly as common. You had the common pleco or the hypostomus plecostomus that everybody sold and had, and of course that's not a good one for your tanks really. But first time going with the bristlenose, didn't realize they were such prolific breeders at the time, but ended up with a male and a female, and within a couple of days had eggs, and that just it exploded from there. So that kind of kind of brings me to the next thing I was just curious about is what is you all's favorite part of the hobby? What do you enjoy the most about your fish? There are a lot of things that we enjoy about them, but what's your favorite thing? For me, I would have to say that it is breeding, and not so much in the sense of I want them to make babies so I have more of them to go to the local fish store, but just the fact that they're happy enough to reproduce, they're enjoying life, and you come home and you find, hey, look, I've got a whole bunch of fish fry, or I've got these eggs here, or I've got, angelfish eggs, or things like that. I think that's my favorite part, is just knowing that I'm keeping the fish happy enough to make little babies, and then walking in and never knowing what you're going to find. Gina French says up above. I'm looking, Gina French, make sure I've got my live chat on. Gina French said, hey, Sandy. It says, hey, all. Maybe I'm too far above it. Let me scroll back through here. Chevy Fish says, I have been into nature since I was a small fry. My dad could start at one end of the yard and have a complete meal in tow by the time he reached the other side. I loved it, and all the fish were part of it. I'm going to move this chat down so I can see it a little bit better. Zen Ginger says, I kept a crayfish that my mom let me take home, saved from a cooler, then got the standard carnival goldfish, and it went from there for a couple decades. Now it's because my kids wanted guppies, LOL. Young fish mentioning the demon pleco. Dragon Lair says, metal frame, slate bottom, 5-gallon with a pair of black mollies in 1957 for me. Well, that is awesome. 1957. Yeah, and that's another thing. I love somebody mentioned the community. Is there's such an extended group of knowledge that we can gain from this that, you had forums before, and you could go through and you could search forums and you might be able to find information. A lot of times it was, you need to talk to this person who's only active in the forum once a month. But with YouTube and what we have set here, it's so much easier to get knowledge and information and share our experiences and get help when we need help, and discover new things that we hadn't discovered. Gina French says, father had fish off and on when I was growing up, about 20 years. I got my first fish tank, then another, took a break about 4 years, and then got back into about 3 years ago. Have 9 tanks now. Haha. Yeah, that is awesome. And, there are a lot of people that take breaks. I took a long break. There are certain people that have kept tanks nonstop for decades and decades, but if it ever gets to the point that you're not enjoying it and it's stressful keeping fish, or life happens to all of us, as I say, things happen, you can always come back to it, and I love the hobby for that. And Select Pet says, and hello Select, by the way, when I got back in, I said I'm only doing a 20 long, only one tank, and that's it. Well, I do have a 20 long. Yeah, it's easy to really get going, especially, like I said, with, babies and breeding and things. You're like, oh, now I need to set up another tank for these babies. And, oh, now I want to try this strain, or that's a really pretty fish I'd love to have, but it's not going to be compatible with this or that. So it's definitely easy to expand on the hobby and grow into multi-tank syndrome. And then from there, go to fish room feeder. I've got 2 fish rooms, a fish hallway, which that's got 11 tanks in it right now, but it's actually the way I've got the racks designed, I could put another 2 tanks in that hallway. We've got 1 tank in the living room, and I've got to add at least one more tank to the living room. Have to. People are like, we don't have to, but I need to get my 220-gallon tank in so that I can get the piranha into that bigger tank, and they'll be set, and then I can get that eel moved into this 125 right here for the time being. Sharpies, models, and aquatics is coming up on 2 years for me in the hobby. I started as I wanted a new hobby with lots of learning and thinking potential, and I've always been fascinated by nature, especially water life. And see, that's very cool. There are also quite a few people that I've seen that have just come into the hobby within the past 5 years. And of course, we've got, future generations that have just recently gotten into the hobby. So I think that the YouTube platform and especially the Fish Fam community is just an awesome resource for new hobbyists as well as people that have been around to help share some knowledge with those people. Pugimus Maximus says, Fish Room Fever, attended my first kids party that my kids were invited to where they had a goldfish in a small orb vase. I'll say vase because Lynn always pokes me when I say vase. I took it home and it grew to 8 inches in a 10-gallon, then rehomed it. Yeah, the standard goldfish gift or carnival goldfish / birthday party goldfish got a lot of people into the hobby. I hate the idea. I really do. I don't like that people do that. But I think that, we do have some awesome people in the hobby because of it. So I can't say that no good has come from it. But definitely more harm than good has. But I'm still glad to see people here, that have come into it from that. Youngfish Aquatic says, I had a fish tank my mom owned, and then I went to a store and bought some, and were so fascinated by them, I wanted an Oscar. Oscars are very cool. Big old fat water puppies. Let me see. Sharpies, Models, and Aquatics says, my favorite thing is the Fish Fam. All of the various hobbies and interests I've had, no community has been as welcoming, open, or helpful as a whole. Absolutely. I mean, you all are listening to this idiot ramble instead of doing other things. That just shows how cool everybody is, that you all enjoy hanging out and listening to people like myself. So thank you for that. It really is an amazing community. Mr. Fish Sir Brad is in the chat. Hey, Brad, how are you? Says, I like tinkering with different things, tanks, plants, fish, and any other stuff to play with. Fish Room Fever. That is definitely a very fun part of the hobby. I've recently gotten into aquascaping, and I do the air quotes because I don't feel that I should be deeming myself an aquascaper, but playing with different aquascapes and different plants and things like that, and I absolutely love it. I've got a video coming out next week of an aquascape, and I'm just really, really having fun with it. And that's actually going to be one of the things that I think we'll have as a topic at another time is the pros and cons of small scapes versus large scapes. But that's something I definitely want to talk about at some point. Young Fish Aquatic says, I try to take breaks, but the fever got me already. Yeah, it happens. Zen Ginger throwing out some of the custom member emojis there with the crazy Fish Room Fever guy. Anthony's fishy friend says, I was supposed to stop. Now I have nearly as many tubs as I do tanks. I have very much been fighting the tub thing. And most of it's just because I don't really have good places to set them up. Otherwise, they would be up. So I can completely understand that. Dragon Lair says, okay, wish I could stay, but I'll lose signal on the walk to work, and I got to go. Have a great day, everyone. Every one of you. So Dragon Lair, I appreciate it. Have a good day at work. Don't let them work you too hard, and we will see you on the next go-around, my friend. About jumped over Chevy Fish there. Chevy Fish says, hard to choose, but I love how I can look at whatever tank at whatever time of day, and they're always doing something cool to watch, from breeding to having babies, eating, interacting, etc. Yeah, it really is one of my favorite things. I like to tell people that, that's my television, and if I want to change the channel, I just look at a different tank, because there's always something different going on, like you said, be it breeding or just the interactions between fish, different little habits and routines that they have. Just there's always something new and fun and relaxing going on around me. Young Fish Aquatics says, then there's the other side of the community that ruin fish keeping, and they're all from the same state. Not going to name names. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I understand completely. You'll never, I made a joke the other day. I was like, hey, I just need to take a 2-foot pacu and shoot it down a 100-foot water slide into a lake, and I'll blow up on YouTube. I'd never do that. That being said, somebody's going to hear that would, and it's going to happen, sadly. But things like that are just, I can't bring myself to do it. The reward from YouTube would not be worth the loss of integrity and ethics. So yeah, I completely understand. It's just like anything, though. They're good and bad people in any and every aspect of life. So you just gotta filter through it and find the good stuff. Select Pet says, random thought, is Project Piaba still going on and rolling? Seems everyone was talking about it for a bit and not so much anymore. Yes, Project Piaba is still on and going. Sorry, I was debating whether or not I could release any details on something. I don't think I can at this point. But yes, Project Piaba is still going strong. They've actually had, I can't think of her name, but there's a lovely lady that has taken over basically their social media, who's doing a lot more posting on their YouTube channel as well as their Instagram. I would highly encourage you all to check them out. And on the list of 16 or 20 videos I'm currently working on, one of those is the part 3 of the Piaba. What the heck happened to that series? What happened with the fish, the tank, the videos? Did I take it outside and blow it up? Why has there been no video? And that'll all be explained in there. But yes, they are still going. I highly encourage. And I do have at the very top of the webpage, let me get on the right screen so I can scroll down. The click here to learn more about Project Piaba. And that opens up another page for you. But yes, definitely still a wonderful, wonderful thing that I encourage everybody to check out. I saw a super chat. I don't think I've quite gotten to it yet. I'm sure I'm a little bit, more than a little bit behind. But I wanted to go through these and talk to everybody. New England Inler, hello. Good to see you again, my friend. It says, looks like an old TV guide on the screen. Yeah, that's the Fish Room Fever website there. Thanks to Guppy Guru for updating that. He pulled some pictures off my Instagram, I believe it was, and just made it a little bit purtier and added some things that needed to be added. Gina French says, I agree with Sharpie's Models and Aquatics regarding the fish fam. It is a calming place for me of having tanks. Calming peace for me of having tanks. Move my chat back down here. Again, I told y'all I need to go get new glasses today. Thank you for posting the Project Piaba website link. Zen Ginger. All right, chat jumped on me, so I'm going to grab this super chat since it is right in front of me. Guppy Guru with the $5 super chat says, spread the Guppy love. Absolutely, my friend. I've got, at this point, if you were to include all of the fry, I've probably got about 600-700 guppies in the house at this point. Don't tell Miss Fever. We had several new drops. I finally got a drop of fry from the Super Dumbo Dragons I got from HC Aqua, Jesse. I got another massive drop of fry from the purpley black Moscow line that I'm working on creating something with. Just lots of drops. Lots and lots of drops of fry. I've had 4 muck guppy drops this week. So, yes, thank you very much for that, Peter. And I hope to be able to spread some guppy love myself and get some guppies out to some people and let them be able to enjoy it. Pegasus Sister Arena says, just finally got my substrate in my tank, everyone. Watch for a picture on Facebook. Okay, I will have to do that. Mr. Fisher says, have an Anubias trying to flower, just sitting here waiting for it to open. Yeah, I really love that. That was one of the things in terms of the plants that really got me going into plants, was the first time I started seeing plants flower in my aquariums after previous goes of having plants in the past and killing everything. I was like, oh, well, the plants are happy enough to be flowering. I must be doing something right nowadays that I was screwing up before. So Yes, that's a very, very cool thing. Slackpet says, thanks as in Ginger. I guess I could have Googled it and looked it up. Sometimes type thoughts before looking. Hey, not a problem. Not a problem. And that Project Piaba tank is actually right there. I'm going to do a full video. I'm going to go back through, rescape it, and kind of explain everything that has happened with that tank. It's an awesome tank, and I love the tank. I love the footprint. But it is, I do still have it. That's the Aqueon Conservation Kit that helps fund Project Piaba. Zindinger says, Brad, mine never completely flowered, and I was told it would grow the flower but not open if it's fully submerged underwater. Don't know if that applies to you, but FYI. I've wondered about that. I've thought about taking and dropping the water level down, because the one that I have that flowers the most often, fix that a little bit, it usually gets about that far from the water surface. So I'm thinking maybe drop the water level down so that that flower is not submerged, and see what happens from there. Plugimus Maximus says, Fish from Fever, favorite part is learning about keeping different types of fish. Planted tanks are addictive. Yes, very much so. My aquascaping skills are horrible, but I keep trying. Same here, Plugimus. Same here. I'm trying to learn all the theories of aquascaping, if you will. But my biggest thing is, unless you're trying to get into it to, go into competitions and win ribbons and trophies and contests and things, my piece of advice for aquascaping is just make it something that you enjoy looking at. That's my big takeaway from it. I try and just make something that I enjoy looking at, that has some sort of cool theme, or maybe something different I haven't seen, versus, oh, well, this is exactly what a tank that won an aquascape looked like. I'm going to make it exactly like that, So that's how I like to do it. Goldfish down a water slide, said Young Fish Aquatics. Yeah, exactly. Gina French says, oh yeah, about a year ago I got into live plants in tanks and so loving it. I am too. I had tried plants in the past, had zero success with them, and it seems like the plants were more expensive 8 or 10 years ago, at least in my area. So I quit investing money in it because I kept killing everything. But when I got back into the hobby this time, there was a lovely lady that I found on one of the, kind of like a Craigslist or whatever. It may have been Craigslist. I don't remember. But basically, she was getting rid of all of her tanks for health reasons. She was getting mostly out of the hobby. And so I pretty much bought all of her setups complete. And she had a lot of plants. And thank you to her, because she's really what got me into the plants. Those plants came with it. And I said, well, let's see if I can keep these things alive. And I did, and they multiplied and I propagated. And so I probably wouldn't be into plants like I am had it not been for her. Let's see what we got. Sharpie's Models and Aquatics has just opened a parcel, 50 escargot shells. Should last a while in a 15-gallon Shelly tank. Very cool. Don't say Shelly too loud. Sean OOTD will come popping through the door and yelling at me for not having a Shelly tank yet. Plugimus Maximus says, oh no, wait, that's the one I just got. I got that. And T-Shot. Oh, hello, How to Garden. T-Shot says, I lost my betta to dropsy last night. Well, I am sorry to hear that, T-Shot. Came out of nowhere. It sucks, but on the other hand, I have a 10-gallon tank available. Any ideas? No live bears. I've been thinking about a pair of German blue rams. I've not done German blue rams. I really like German blue rams. Gianna French says, in my experience, German blues are finicky. And Young Fish also saying sorry for your loss. And would put a pair of Killies in there. My other kick, since you excluded live bears, right now I'm really big on shrimp. That's kind of my big go-to right now, especially with doing the nanoscapes. Is I'm just absolutely loving Neocaridina shrimp. But yeah, Killies are awesome. German blue rams are really cool. You could do, what is it? Is it the Scarlet Batis that's super small? We had some Batis at the store the other day that were really little, that I would love to have at some point, but I think somebody else purchased them and I've not seen them before or after. Mr. Fish Sir Brad says, please don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Brad, for that. Young Fish Aquatic says, and some pygmy cories. Yeah, that, and I guess that's a good way to segue into it. My next question, I ask, how do we get into the hobby? What's your favorite part of the hobby? And I think most of us will agree that fish loss is the worst part of the hobby. But, I'm just curious, what is the part of the hobby that you absolutely hate the most? And some of us, if you're newer to the hobby, you may not have lost any fish yet. So it may be massive amounts of water changes or dealing with, algae or things like that. For me, I would definitely say that fish loss is the absolute hardest part of the hobby. That's actually the reason I got out of it years ago. I see a big old super chat from the Zen Ginger down there. I will get to that here in just a second. New England Inler said it. T-Shot, buy what you like, and in the long run, you'll be happy about what you picked than letting others pick for you. Yep. That is, if you're starting from scratch, the joys of having the kids home while I'm streaming. If you're starting from scratch, then find something you really love. It's great to get opinions simply because you can find out about fish you might not have known about. But I would 100% agree with that. Go with something you absolutely love. The biggest time that I go for recommendations is simply if it's a compatibility issue. And even on that, fish attitudes can vary. But you find something you really love, and don't rush it. Go to the fish store, see what they got, look around online. Maybe get 2 or 3 options and just sit and think about it and look at and I know that's hard for us. It's hard for me too. But just look and go, excuse me, what would I really enjoy seeing in there every single day? And go with that one. All right. Let me go ahead and get this super chat. I see a couple things I need to grab. But the Zen Ginger, the one, the only, the awesome, with the $10 super chat says, Mr. Zen is busy, but wanted me to say hi. He also says German Blue Rams with the smiley face with the shades. Well, thank you, the Zen Ginger. Thank you, Mr. Zen. Smooches to both of you. I appreciate that very, very much. Mr. Zen 2 is an awesome guy, awesome supporter, and he's a Dodge guy like myself, so we have a lot of fun sharing little Dodge videos and talking crap about the Mustangs. So sorry, Mustang owners, not sorry, but thank you, Zen and Mr. Zen. Lefty3213A says, yay for sleeping through alarms. Yeah, see, if I do that, then y'all sit here and you curse at me in the chat if I sleep through an alarm. And Monday is still the one day that I'm like not getting up early. It's weird because and that makes sense. It's been my one and only day off for so long that it's been my sleeping day for forever. But every other day of the week, even without my alarms going off, it's like, oh, it's 7:02, I'm awake. Today it was like the kids are coming going, Dad, it's 10:30. Dad, it's 11. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's Monday. I sleep on Mondays. But yeah, I can definitely understand that, Lefty. T-Shot says I actually have a pair in my 20-gallon long. So yeah, so you may look at something else if you've already got a pair of them, or if you wanted to add that on. Sharpie's Models and Aquatics, I like your thinking. It says a pair of Epistogramma cockatoides would go great in a 10-gallon T-Shot. Not as finicky as Rams, tons of character, and gorgeous fish. Yes, I know somebody that's got some Epistos and waiting for some babies, and then I'd love to get some shipped out to me, because the last time I saw really, really pretty Epistos locally, they were gone in a heartbeat, and I did not get any. Guppy Guru says, gotta add me as a mod, Fish Room Fever, if you want to know. I need to, because you're also, you're managing the website as well. So I need you to be able to, I'll get that afterwards, Peter. Don't let me forget, because I don't want to go pulling up multiple screens and fiddling with it. It seems to slow down, mess with the stream latency. But yeah, remind me, especially with you running the website now, in essence, need to have you able to link to things on there and whatnot. Tiffany White is lurking and driving home from a hike. Thank you for being here, Tiffany. I hope you enjoyed the hike. It's been beautiful weather around here, so hopefully the same there. Jennifer Weaver, hello and welcome, says Dan's Fish has some baddest available. Awesome. Good information there. Lance Jones says I just ordered some blue diamond shrimp from Roe. I need to get with Roe on her shrimp. I really, really do. I started to a while back, and then I strayed away from shrimp, and now I'm coming back to shrimp. So I need to get with Rose Aquatics about some shrimp and see what she's got. I know she's got a Get Gills store, and then probably some other things that aren't on her store as well, possibly since I'm local to her. Slick Pet says, worst part of the hobby for me was old wiring and unknowingly overloaded circuits for the fish room leading to fire. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Select. I've definitely popped a breaker or two here and there, but fortunately haven't had any fires from anything. So I'm really sorry to hear that. That's definitely horrible. Chevy Fish says, Anthony's, it worked for me and my phone was dropped. That's what Anthony, I think, was. Somebody had mentioned their phone was dropped in water and had to go, and then the chat jumped on me. And I missed several things. I'm sorry. If there was a direct question, please toss it back at me if I don't get a chance to run back up and grab it. Because if I go up there, I'm going to get lost coming back down. You know, I'm horrible at this streaming thing, so bear with me. Let's see. Gina French says, yeah, fish loss is hardest for me, but recently being scammed with online fish orders, although I have had great success with some that I have at Fish Room Fever. Yeah, that's a no-no. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that happen to you. Definitely, you know, I have to say I don't want you to throw people under the bus or get into your business, but if there's a particular company that we should be staying away from and you feel that you're okay to let us know who it is, by all means. I don't consider that crapping on someone if they're scamming you. So always be careful who you order from, especially if you're going to, like, I would say bidding sites, you know, like Aquabid, basically the eBay of fish. Look at the sellers, see what kind of feedback they've got, how many transactions they've got, that kind of stuff. Select Pet says, now the worst part is I can't lift the big tanks. I understand. I do. I did 5 or 6 years of appliance delivery, hauling refrigerators and all that good stuff. And at one point, I was able to dolly my 220 gallon up and down stairs essentially by myself with very minor help. Now I'm like, hey, I need to get a team to move this thing to my house because that ain't gonna happen. Jennifer Weaver says, oops, he has Dario. Well, still an awesome little fish. Chevy Fish says, worst part of the hobby is heater failure for me. Yeah, and see, that's one of those things that I really, really fear, just because there have been so many issues with, sooner or later a heater ends up failing and it sticks on. Failing and not coming on is not quite as bad, but when they stick on and they cook your fish, that is one of the biggest fears that I have. So I can definitely understand that. Tiffany White says, I'm still sitting in the parking lot in response to New England Endler, who said, no texting and driving, please. Yeah, we want you to be safe, but I kind of figured that you were. I know I'm one of those people, if I'm like at a full stop, then I'll post a quick response and toss my phone back on the seat out of hand before I go into motion again. So I didn't figure you were texting and driving, but never hurts to look out. Katie's living the dream. Hello and welcome. Glad to have you here. Formerly UPS or living the dream. I had some questions thrown at me about you the other day. People were like, did she quit UPS? And I'm like, well, it's not really my business. I think she just changed her name, though. But we had some people that were trying to make sure you were okay because you were no longer named UPS or living the dream. Oh, lots of highlighted questions. Let me see if I can get through these. Guppy Guru says, sounds good, Fish Room Fever. Just wanted to be able to add links if needed. JN saying hello to everybody. Sharpies, Models, and Aquatics says, I would happily send you some Apistos Fish Room Fever. Doubt they would make it alive, though. Yeah, well, I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless, John. But you're probably right, especially with current shipping. I was fortunate that my shrimp Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics. He's an awesome guy. I was fortunate that the shrimp didn't get into any bad temperatures. They arrived at like 74.8 because they were out from, let's see, Monday to Monday and then to that following Friday. So almost 2 full weeks. Pugamus. Guppy Guru is saying Sharpies, models, and aquatics. Any tips? And that was in reference to Fire Red Super. Fire Red Super. Excited to see them breed. There we go. Chevy Fish says, I would love any info on scammers, so I don't order from them. I've gotten some fish crap off of eBay. Ordered like some plant seeds one time, and those were junk. A couple different fish-related things that were essentially scammy on eBay, but I haven't actually ordered fish off eBay, so I haven't had to deal with that. I really don't do much on eBay, so that helps, I think. Mr. Fish Sir says, Fish Room Fever, do you know a good place to get assassin snails? That has probably been answered in the chat by the time I'm reading it now. I would have to look. I don't have any assassin snails, and I've not really looked for assassin snails, so I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure I could come up with something, Brad. If we don't get an answer in the chat, I'll dig around and find something and send it to you through Messenger. Sharpies, Marbles, and Aquatics says, plants in a coconut hut along with a substrate the female can garden with, Guru. I've got some ember tetras in there too as dithers, but that's in a 10-gallon. Zen Ginger, yes, absolutely. You can take the easy answer. But Zen Ginger said, can I just take the easy answer and say the worst part is water changes on like 20 tanks? Ugh. Honestly, yes. Fish death is horrible, but the worst thing I think that we deal with on a consistent basis would be water changes on large amounts of tanks. Having to water change 45, 46 tanks, which I don't do consistent water changes on all of them. I'll put it that way. I try and get stuff set up to where it can efficiently manage a bioload on its own as much as possible. So I don't water change every single tank every single week or anything like that. But yes, having to do a lot of water changes is frustrating. Even just going through and topping off 40 tanks is annoying. Some Ginger says, Mr. Fish, I actually got mine on Amazon, LOL. Tiffany Medema says, hardest part for me, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I set up my first tank a couple months ago, new to cycle, did do research, losing my guppies to unknown parasites, found under microscope, now can't identify. Oh, there was a site, and I feel like it was Dan's Fish that was talking about it for like identifying parasites. But yeah, that's definitely something that can be quite common, especially in guppies. Especially if you're getting them through big box or chain or anything like that. Funguses and parasites and columnaris are about the biggest things, particularly with guppies, that I've seen coming through the general flow of guppies in the hobby. That's one of the reasons why I try and go only through breeders and other hobbyists to get my guppies now. But I am sorry for your loss. It definitely is a tough one. But it's good to see that you're still around and then you didn't let it drive you out of the hobby. And Lefty3213A says, I can honestly say I have only had one bad eBay shipment, luckily. All about reading reviews about sellers and looking at their rating. Absolutely. Just kind of validate and verify who you're buying stuff from before you buy it if you're going to use sites like that. Oh, I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. Jay in Aquariums, hello and welcome, Jay, and says, ask holes. Let me make sure I enunciate that. Are the worst part for me? They ask for advice, but not willing to do it. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. What should I do? Well, this is probably the best way to treat that or do this. Oh, okay. I'm not going to do that. I can understand that. I will also sometimes seek out knowledge, playing the devil's advocate here, seek out knowledge just so that I can have a broad spectrum of knowledge that I can choose from. But yeah, I can totally get where you're coming from there. And like Select Pet said, you can only lead a horse to water. Can't make them drink. Gina French said, I have slowly been getting backups of equipment in case of failure, fish room fever. That is awesome. I really need to get a linear piston pump. Then I could have everything run off of that. I already have a backup power supply that I could plug that into, and with just about everything being on sponge filters, wouldn't have to worry about it. But very, very cool. Let's see if I can go through here. All right, looks like I got down to the bottom, grabbed all the highlighted comments. Zen Ginger says, bacteria, parasites, and fungus. Oh my. Yeah, lots of, you never know what you're going to run into with the mass quantity shippers, sellers, things like that. There we go. Lefty3213 Aces. Tiffany and Dan's Fish last stream. He mentioned a Facebook page with a fish vet peeps if you want to go back and watch for the name. That would be my best advice because I cannot recall the name of it. Jay and Aquarium says, got to run, guys and gals. Have a great day. Oh, we've only got, I talked about ending early. Looks like we're down to only about 14 minutes till. But you all have been awesome. It's been a lot more interactive than last Monday was, and I appreciate that because it definitely makes it easier for me to attempt to put on a good show if I've got some things to talk about and can interact with you all versus me sitting here and just talking for an hour. Not that I wouldn't sit here and talk to myself for an hour anyways, but I think it's probably more enjoyable if I'm interacting with you all. Let's see, Tiffany says, Dan's Fish did try to answer that, but it was a Facebook page for veterinarians. It may not allow me to post. Guppies from a fish tuber breeder got infected here. I bet dirt from plant roots. It's possible. I mean, there are so many variables and factors in terms of where something could have come in from. Realistically, like you said, different substrates, plant roots. It's really hard to sometimes narrow down exactly what you got and where you got it from. Alien World Aquatics, hello. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. You're going to have to let me know if you and Paige are going to be able to make it down in October for the big Fishy event. It's October 3rd and 4th. Select Pet says, is it a bad case of fish fever if I walk past the wind tunnel blowers at work and I start thinking how to make them run endless sponge filters? See, stuff like that is awesome. I have crazy thoughts like that about random things all the time. I'm like, that would be really great for X fish purpose. So, yeah, I think you definitely got the fever if you're at that point. But I also enjoy thinking outside of the box. So, I'm glad to know it's not just me. Pegasus Arena says, Fisherman Fever, you're fun to chat with. So glad I joined the family. We are glad to have you, Rena. It's always awesome to see new people. Scott, it is going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee. The October 3rd and 4th event is not on my website yet. Basically, I am only currently able to release so much information. At this point, it's simply Knoxville, Tennessee, and the date. I'm hoping to every Saturday be able to give you all a little bit more information. Like hopefully this Saturday, I'll be able to announce the name of the event, but we want to make sure and clear all that through a legal panel and, not get in trouble because we pick a name and then somebody comes back and tries to sue over rights to that name, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of covering bases going on right now, but pending, barring any type of global catastrophe / craziness, it's October 3rd and 4th in Knoxville, Tennessee. And even if it didn't happen, we're going to have so many people showing up that we just put on another event in its place. But it's going to happen, and it's going to be a blast. We'll be adding it. I won't be adding it to my website. I think we're going to do just a full-on website just for it, because it's going to be a big event. So we want it to have its own website and all of that kind of stuff. Anthony's Fishy Friend says, I think of random stuff like that all the time, going into people's homes for a living. I get to see some pretty cool stuff. Right on. Yeah, it's, so many weird things. I've got a lot of stuff that people, and my biggest thing is the dollar store. When I go in the dollar store, I can easily find 30 to 50 different items that people a lot of times wouldn't even think would apply to the aquarium hobby, but are phenomenal. Do I have my bucket? No, I don't have my bucket of crap still sitting here. But like these, you get 2 of them for $1 at the dollar store, and they're great for, like, I'm going to use these for aquarium caught fry food. Chattanooga Ed and myself went in on a bulk pack, so we're going to split that up, and then I'll have the fry food feeders. But I've been using those for other fish foods as well for a long time now. Hey, Father Fish, good to see you. I appreciate you swinging by. Another awesome member there. Hat Trick Farm, hello. Better late than never, my friend. Slack Pet says, okay, I'm putting in for vacation at work the 3rd and the 4th of October. Fantastic. It's going to be a blast. You know, we've got people like John and Lisa of KG Tropicals, Bob Steenfod have mentioned coming. A lot of people have mentioned coming, but I'm letting them divulge on their own channels when they choose to do so. But we've got a lot of fish tubers lined up to come, and hopefully a lot of people that will be coming along to see the fish tubers and check out the awesome event. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. All right, looks good. Father Fish, another awesome guy here. I am really enjoying the dirted tanks. This one's not dirted, it's sandcath, but it's not dirted. But the dirted tank I set up with you on that live stream, it's doing phenomenally well. I need to go in there and do a water top off on it. I should probably add more sand. If Father Fish saw it, he would tell me to add more sand. But I've got so many little teeny baby plecos in there. I've got a breeding pair of blue-eyed lemons. I just bought them as a male and female, and they were like, boom, we're making babies as soon as they got in there. So I'm scared to cover up any of those little teeny babies that have just hatched. And of course they're on a cycle now, so they're constantly making more, but it's doing phenomenally well. The plants look amazing. The fish are all super healthy and breeding, and it's just an awesome little ecosystem that I really don't have to do much of anything with. Anthony's Fishy Friend says, hi, Chewy LTD. I'm still watching Undiscovered Country. Really good so far. I'm just very busy and don't want to lurk to it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, I've got at this point over 170 watch later videos from the Fish Fam. And my big thing is I could run that playlist and give you all the view, but you wouldn't get a thumbs up or a comment from me if it was just running on my computer. So I'm really looking forward to, after this Friday not working any longer, I'll be able to listen to some of that stuff while I'm working on projects, and I'll have more time to get caught back up. So please, if you haven't seen me around your videos, don't think that I've not been enjoying them. I just haven't forgotten about you. I've got you on the watch later, and I don't want to give you half my attention. Like Anthony's Fishy Friend said, I'd rather actually give it a legitimate watch, be able to leave you a comment, throw you a thumbs up, and say, hey, thank you. Appreciate what you're doing. Bill Witt says Fish Fever Palooza. Yeah, I mean, that's what I joked about on the last stream. I was like, we're just going to call it like the Fall Fever Festival or something like that, just because people wanted a name. That's not going to be the name. We're waiting for the name to be legally cleared. Looks like we've got about 7 minutes left. I have made it to the bottom of the chat. I don't think I missed too much, but if I did miss a question or comment from earlier, please feel free to throw it in now. And there we go. Pugnus Maximus says, Fish Room Fever, will a dirted tank work with MTS if I cap it thick enough? I would think so. We do have Father Fish, the guru of dirted tanks here, but I would think with the thick enough sand cap, you would probably be fine. I don't think those suckers are going to, dig through 4 inches of sand cap. And even if they do come right back up, there should be enough sand there if you're capping it thick enough to keep that dirt from spilling out. Sorry, I keep hearing a car alarm outside. And there's Father Fish. Yes. So kind of what I figured, but since we've got the expert on it in here, might as well get his advice on it. I wish there was a like all button, says Pegasus Dorina. Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Fisher says, can you tell me about where the event will be close to for motel reservations? So I'm hoping to have that for you very, very, very soon. I will say, before you make any motel reservations, hold off on that, because we are trying to partner with nearby motel, hotel, whatever, to try and see if we can get like a discount code for anybody that's attending the event. So I would say maybe hold off on that, because we should be able to get you a discount code if you're coming to the event. That is the hope anyways. But the way it's shaping up, it's going to be a big enough event that we'll be able to do that. And I will also get with you off stream, Brad, and discuss it a little bit more in depth. I just can't, my hands are kind of tied by my silent partner at the moment about what I can release, including who my silent partner is. That's why I'm calling them my silent partner, even though they're the one that's really going to be hosting the event. I'm just the loudmouth guy with the YouTube channel that's trying to draw in everybody and tell everybody. Again, I'm the guy that's pouring the gas on the fire. So anytime you want to start a fire and say, hey, will you pour some gas on this and make this thing explode? Call me, because I'd love to do it. Select Pet says, thanks, Lefty. I was thinking if event was more than fish tubers, then I would help spread info to my club, more non-YouTube fish folks. Absolutely. It's not just going to be fish tubers. The event basically started as being something for like the East Tennessee area to bring people into. And then I looked at it and said, well, if you want it to be big, let's throw this sucker on YouTube. You know, there's so many people, especially for something in the East Tennessee area, that will never get to an Aquashella in Chicago or Dallas or New Jersey or New York, but could manage to get to East Tennessee. So it's not just a fish tuber thing. I will say that the fish tube has become a very large part of it. I'm hoping to have like the talks done by fish tubers versus like, hey, here's a 1 hour talk by blah company rep. We'll just say that so I'm not sounding bad saying any particular company names. Select Pet says, if you want it big, go real big. Yes, that is it. We want to make Aquashella look little. But yeah, there will be more details coming. Lefty, yes, that is the point of a silent partner. They sit back in the shadows, but they won't be a silent partner the whole time. This is just one of those things where I want to get information out there to get people hyped up, let people know that it's coming. And then, ahoy, Sir Prawny. And I'm changing my answer. I do want to have a horse-sized shrimp, because that's a lot of good eating. Plus, it would be pretty cool to see. So I've changed my answer. There are a couple good ways to get a good fire going. Lefty3213A says, James, you got to talk to Lisa about doing a beta medical talk. If she and John do 100% say they will be there, she's like the beta whisperer. Absolutely. I'm trying to get everybody and anybody involved that wants to be involved in it without being like, hey, you're coming, good, do this talk. You get what I'm saying? I don't want it to be a, oh, well, since you're here, will you do a talk? I want people to come so they can enjoy the event. And if they say, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind giving a talk about this or doing a demo about this, then that's great. Zen said, is the silent partner Bob Kaler? Just kidding. Yes, it's Deep Pockets Bob, you know, Big Money Bob. I'm just kidding. It's not. But Big J asked how the red tail is. I guess you weren't in that stream. One of the Oscars, the big Oscar, decided it was going to try and eat the red tail about maybe 6 weeks ago. So the red tail is no moss, sadly. The Oscar was fine. I got the red tail out of his mouth, but came home from work to that. That was not a good day. I do still have the hybrid tiger shovel nose red tail, but I don't have the just red tail. Chewy LTD says, don't stop there, Fisher and Fever. Try a blue whale size shrimp and feed the world. Absolutely. So I've got 1 minute left. 1 minute warning. Let me see if I can do this real quick here. Let me see how quick I can go, because I want to thank my super chatters. I do. I love you all. Thank you to all of the lurkers, all the members, everybody that's participated in the chat. You are all awesome people. I appreciate you. I don't even know what we've got watching or how many thumbs up, but I want to say thank you all for it, because it does mean a lot to me. And YouTube is being a little bit kinder to me because you all have been so nice to me. Let me get my studio pulled up. I see stuff popping up out of the corner of my eye here. Let me see. Gina French with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate you. Not only a member, but throwing a super sticker out there with the awesome Dancy Fox with the heart fans. There you go, doing that. Awesome. I love it. Thank you very much for that. We are going over to Big J's. Big J, you are running, correct? I'll make sure. Let's get some links up for Big J's Fish Keeper. Trying to say these thank yous real quick. Come on, because I don't want to cut into Big J's time. There we go. The Zen Ginger, Sharpies Models and Aquatics, Guppy Guru, the Zen Ginger again, and Gina French. Thank you all so very, very much for the super chats. All you awesome members, thank you all with the peace and love there. Big Tank Hank, good to see you. Let's go over and check out Big J's Fish Keeper. Show him some love. Show him some support. I think he's almost to 1,000 subscribers at this point, so he's getting there. Let's go support him. I'll be lurking on the mobile because I need to go do some things. But, oh, and Father Fish, thank you very much at the last minute. Again, another awesome member, and throwing the $10 super chat with the thank you pair. I love you all. You make my day. And you've pushed me to pursue my dreams. So thank you all. And with the customary, until next time, keep your fish healthy, keep yourselves healthy, and catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody.